Yo, what's going on, everyone? My name is Damien, also known as QB. How's everyone going today? This is day 13. Let's go. We're just about 2 weeks into this hard 50 and I couldn't be any more happier what's going on with the whole situation. I'm starting to get a lot more views on my videos. I have a lot more people coming over to my Twitch. Obviously, if you guys want to come watch me live on Twitch, it's the exact same name as this. That's just literally add the XD at the end and you'll find me. I go live every single day. Probably early morning for you Americans, but for us Australians, Western Australian time, probably around 5 PM, so over like Sydney, Melbourne, Queensland, probably like 8 PM. But without further ado, let's get stuck into today's video. The first 16 games of the 2024-25 regular season for the Golden State Warriors was looking very promising. They were looking like a championship contender right out the gates, and now they're sitting at an even 21-21, just on 500 in the Western Conference standings. And in those first 16 games, they'd go astonishing 13-3, taking the NBA by storm, and Buddy Hield was on an absolute tear. 7 out of his first 10 games he dropped at least 25 plus point games. He was actually the top 5 for the MVP race early going. But those numbers have dropped absolutely dramatically, and we'll talk about it a bit more later into the video. But I just want to get stuck into the Golden State Warriors stats and what they can do to potentially get better and get themselves above 500. But before I dive straight into that, I kind of want to talk about the personnel and just the fact that the core that they have right now, it's just not working. If they want to really maximize Steph Curry still being as good as he is at his age, they're going to have to go chase the big time talent. And we all know Jimmy Butler, one of his preferred destinations is the Golden State Warriors. So if I was Golden State, if I was the front office, I'd look at Steph Curry, and obviously he signed another 2-year massive extension. I would not look to take advantage of him whatsoever and try to put a championship team around him to try to get him a number 5. That'd be crazy. Because it's just clear as day that this group that they have at the moment is just not working. 21-21 is not where you want to be so far. Especially 42 games into the regular season. You want to be at least 5 games over 500, especially if you have a talent like Stephen Curry on their team. Obviously they traded for Dennis Schroeder. But obviously Dennis Schroeder does not look as good as he did in Brooklyn, because obviously he had the ball majority of the time. He was making plays himself. But how you supposed to do that when you have Stephen Curry, probably one of the best point guards of all time on your list? Well, on your roster, playing most minutes, maximizing the usage of the ball, that sort of stuff. The offense actually has been pretty stagnant. The 21st in the entire league in points per game at 110 points. And yes, back a few years ago, that would be a lot. But not in this stage and age. The game is changing for the good or for the worse. The 25th in regular field goal percentage will narrow it down to the players that are maybe causing that and what they can do to try bump it up, to try being more efficient inside when Steph Curry just can't get it going from outside the arc. And actually 14th as well, so literally right in the middle of the pack when it comes to the NBA and 3-pointer percentage. And you would think with the best shooter of all time on your team, that would be a little bit higher, but there's a lot of guys dragging that down and that need to get their asses back in check ASAP. They're actually dead last in the association in free throw percentage. They're only shooting 71%, which is actually awful for free throws. You obviously want to be around that 80 to 85, possibly even the early 90s when it comes to free throws, and 71% is just isn't going to get it done. Can you just imagine how much points are lost at the free throw line because of that percentage? But they're doing a really good job actually moving the ball around, and a big reason that has been Dennis Schroeder. They're actually 9th in its entire association in assists per game at 28. And they're right in the middle of the pack when it comes to turnovers at 13th, sitting 13.5 turnovers per game, which actually isn't too bad. One thing about Golden State, when you have hustlers such as Draymond Green, and quite literally I can only think of Draymond Green, who's been quite a defensive anchor this season, their defense is actually above average. They're sitting 10th in opposing teams, like how much opposing team scores them per game. They're sitting 10th at 111 points per game. They're 9th in the entire league of holding players inside the 3-pointer line field goal percentage down. I worded that absolutely shit. So pretty much they're 9th best in the league for allowing the least amount of field goal percentage inside the arc. 14th when it comes to the 3-point line at 35.9%. Sitting top 10 in blocks at 6 per game, and actually 3rd in the entire league in steals per game. Obviously Dennis Schroeder has a massive part of that. He's actually a great on-ball defender, and exactly what this Golden State Warriors team needs. We'll talk about more how he fits in and what could Steve Kerr and coaching staff do possibly do to make him fit in a bit more than what he should have, what he has been. And 3rd overall in total rebounds per game at 46.4. Obviously Steph Curry's going to do Steph Curry things. He's averaging 23 points so far this season. Still shooting a ridiculous 41% from the 3-point line. It's just crazy that longevity of a couple of guys in the NBA still is just unreal. He's 3rd in the entire league in 3-pointer percentage, well not 3-pointer percentage, but 3-pointers attempt per game are just under 11. But obviously it's the best shooter of all time. He can let it fly whenever he wants. I don't see where's the situation where he doesn't get the green flag. So as far as Steph Curry goes, he's doing his job. He's doing what he needs to do at his age of 35 years old. And you just couldn't ask him any more from your superstar player. Dennis Schroeder, since before coming to the the Golden State Warriors, he was actually averaging a healthy 23 points per game, but that's now dropped to under 15 per game. Averaging a steal per game as well, and actually shooting very poorly from the 3-point line since joining the Golden State Warriors. I guess he's finding it hard when to shoot and when he has a green flag and when he does not have the green flag. Because obviously when you're playing with a team like Brooklyn, you're always going to have the green flag no matter what. I guess it's just a lot more of a personnel issue when it comes to Dennis Schroeder. I guess he's still trying to find his way how to fit in with this Golden State Warriors team. He has been here for a bit now, but I have no doubt in my mind that Steve Kerr and the coaching staff were going to find the right spot for him to play the right role, whether that be on the starting lineup, in the starting lineup, or off the bench. Andrew Wiggins actually quietly having one of his best seasons ever, averaging a healthy 17 points per game, 4 rebounds, and just under 4 assists. Shooting 45% inside the arc and shooting 39% outside the arc. And if I'm Steph Curry, that's probably one of the best wingmen I could ask for. His defense has also improved a shit ton as well. It doesn't quite show up in the stats, but you can just tell, like, when you're watching like live Warriors games, that his intensity on the defensive end has definitely shifted throughout the last couple of seasons. But this is where it starts to go down. Buddy Hield was having an absolute breakout start to the season and just obviously has just plummeted ever since. His shooting percentages are way down, and I literally made a video about how the Golden State Warriors were surprising everyone, and Buddy Hield was the main contributor to that. And ever since his numbers gone down, so has the Warriors' numbers. They're now 500, as I said at the start of the video, after starting the season 13-3. Yes, 13 wins and 3 losses. Out of his last 7 games, 6 of those games have been single-digit scoring. And I guess that's just not what the Golden State Warriors want out of Buddy Hield, especially after having that blazing hot start to the season. He went from averaging 26 points early in the season to now averaging just under 12. It's an absolutely ridiculous shift. He went from shooting 47% from the 3-point line throughout this first 16 games to now shooting just under 36 on top 20 most attempts per game and just under 8. I guess with Buddy Hield, I guess it might speak some of a confidence thing. We all seen that clip with Draymond Green actually got mad at him for like shooting a shot when he maybe shouldn't have. And it's just, for me, it's just a confidence thing, and just for some reason he's looking more and more uncomfortable on this Golden State Warriors squad. It's going to be really interesting to see what this team does come trade deadline. Speaking of trade deadline, you got Jonathan Kuminga obviously having another great season, potentially his best season ever, averaging just under 17 points a game on great efficiency. His defense, his playmaking, his drive to the rim, everything has just gone up a shit ton. And it'll be interesting to see what the Golden State Warriors will do with him come trade deadline. If they're going to give him that max contract that he wants, or they're going to deal him away to try to get Stephen Curry, a legitimate teammate, to try to push towards another NBA championship. Draymond Green is actually having career low numbers, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. But he does have a major impact. As much as I don't like him, he's probably one of my least favourite players in the entire league, but he does make a massive impact to this Warriors team and what they're trying to accomplish. He's always going to be a Warrior. I'm not going to talk about him potentially being in trades because that's just unrealistic. Steph Curry is always going to want him there. He's always wanted to be there, and everyone around Golden State loves Draymond. It's been pretty underwhelming from Brandon Podziemski as well. He's only averaging 8 points per game on actually pretty shocking field goal percentage. I wouldn't say so much inside the arc, it's about 40% inside the arc, but outside the arc, he is bottom 30 in the entire league amongst players who average more than 3 attempts per game. He's shooting 28% from the 3-point line. So I don't know if he needs some time, possibly in the G League, to develop a bit more, because he's still on that 2-way rookie contract, I guess. But it is just very hard to sort of just, I guess, downgrade to that. I guess the 2 backup centers, I guess you could call them, and Trey Jackson Davis and Kevon Looney, always just come in and do their role to perfection, both shooting above 50% inside of the arc. There are no limitations. None of them really shoot threes at all. I think Trey Jackson Davis has actually attempted just under 5 threes per game. I don't know what those could have been, but he's attempted 5 apparently. They're always going to come in and do their job to perfection. I don't know what direction this Golden State Warriors team is going in. I need everyone to get down low in the comments and let me know what you think about this and what's possibly wrong with the Golden State Warriors. Should they trade away Jonathan Kuminga to try to get a star player? Should they package other players? Let me know what your thoughts about this down below. But in conclusion, I do feel like it's going to have to be Jonathan Kuminga, some picks, and some other assets possibly going away from the Golden State Warriors to try to get Stephen Curry a legitimate amount of help so he can contend for a championship again and go get number 5. It just makes the perfect sense to me, and especially as I said at the start of the video, you have Stephen Curry, the best point guard of all time. You want to try and maximize that as much as you can before he starts to decline. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like the video if you're new to this channel. Any love and support is much appreciated. I want to do this as a full-time job one day, so please make it happen. This has been your boy QB. I'll see y'all in the next video. I appreciate the love so much. Peace.